Ladies and gentlemen, it is Carabao Cup final time between Chelsea and Liverpool. Got a little bit of a late start, but I will just run through the lineups for you. You've got Kelleher in goal. You've got the normal back four, strongest back four that we've got with Matip and Virgil, Andy and Trent. And then you had a late scratch of Thiago, surprise, surprise, got injured in the warm-ups. Hendo, Fabinho, and Keita. Keita coming in to replace Thiago. And the front three are Salah, Sadio, and the new boy Diaz. So it'll be exciting to see him on the greatest stage that he's performed on so far. You've got the substitute bench of Alisson, Konate, Milner, Ox, Minamino, Jota, Tsimikas, Origi, and Elliott. So there are 5 substitutes permissible in the Carabao Cup this season. So definitely a whole lot of potential to mix things up for either team if things aren't going to plan. Chelsea's starting lineup headline news is that Lukaku's not starting. Some people more or less surprised than others about that. You've got Havertz. Honestly, I think Chelsea's lineup is as fearful as it could be as a Liverpool fan. I think Liverpool is rightfully favored. Just bear with me while the game gets underway. We are on ESPN Plus here in the U.S. So there's Kloppo. So I am going to be modifying the screen share to show the there's Thiago crying on the bench with Alisson with his arm around him. Very sad sight for the Spaniard, but Thiago's just so injury prone. I have been of the opinion in the recent past that I think he's in the Keita category. You just can't rely on him. And so I just don't know how much you can, rely on him going forward into next season. But that's a story for another day. The game is about to be underway. I will fix this clock / scoreboard. And then I will pop up and be your lively host. The players take the knee. And here we go. Chelsea versus Liverpool. I welcome everybody here with us today. All right, let's see if we can. Alrighty then. Again, I appreciate everyone's patience bearing with me as I set this up. Any predictions out there for you? First intros. Again, my name is Scott. I am quote-unquote Beaty's Beat. Happy to be your watch-along companion for the match. Obviously a lifelong Liverpool fan. And I think Liverpool are deserved favorites here. We are on quite a roll. I did a little video podcast yesterday about how Liverpool in a very strong position. The main focus of that video was about FSG in, which is a very rare opinion of a Liverpool fan, but to focus on the on-the-field stuff, Liverpool are on a roll. As of not even 2 months ago, we were deemed to be out of the title race by many. So, not me. I believe the whole time, not to brag, and also, now that I'm patting myself on the back, go ahead and check out. I believe there was a watch along with friend of the stream, Fahey and Lee, where I was saying Chelsea don't scare me in the title race, and I gotta say I pretty much nailed that one. But anyway, I mean, we are in the Carabao Cup final. We should probably save the Premier League talk for another day, but yeah, I mean, Liverpool definitely in a strong position. We're on for the quadruple. I think that's a bit ridiculous when people start expecting and asking if Man City or Liverpool, whatever the club may be, are going to pull off a quadruple. I mean, I just think that's silly. But yeah, Klopp obviously playing a very strong team. Oh, as I was saying, sorry, I'm jumping all around. Bear with me while I find my bearings here, drink my coffee. But yeah, I think Chelsea's lineup is about as strong as... Sorry, just responding to Liverpool Lee, who couldn't join us today. I was trying to pull off some representation from each side with a Chelsea and a Liverpool fan, but they had other plans. One of them was scheduled to be hungover this morning, so what's up, BG, if you're watching? But anyway, yeah, the Chelsea lineup. Sorry. The Chelsea lineup is, they went with Edouard Mendy. Kepa was expected to start, similar to the Kelleher deal. But Tuchel is really going for this match. I mean, in the pre-match they're talking about all this kind of, the silly questions like who wants it more, and they deemed that Chelsea wanted it more just because they started their starting goalkeeper. I mean, Klopp trusts Kelleher, and I think Liverpool are the favorite team regardless of whatever goalkeeper you're playing. Here's Mo Salah on the edge of the box. He's got 4 Chelsea players around him, and he still retains possession of the ball. Plays it to Fabinho, who plays it down the line to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who tries to whip it in. The cross is blocked. Here is apparently the danger man for Chelsea, Mason Mount. Anyway, I'll just run through the Chelsea lineup very quickly. Edouard Mendy in goal, Nathan Chalobah, Silva, and Rudiger as the back 3. Then you've got outside wing backs of Azpilicueta and Alonso, midfield duo of Conte and Kovacic, and front 3 of Pulisic, Mason Mount, and Kai Havertz. So yeah, I mean, I think if I were Chelsea, that's the exact lineup I would go with. I think that's the most fluid and mobile. Oh, and here's a ball in. Oh, what a beautiful save by Kelleher. After a ball in by, was that Pulisic to Havertz or the other way around? But yeah, it's certainly the most mobile lineup that Chelsea could put out. I think Jorginho is typically... Jorginho and Lukaku are the two... Yeah, there's that ball from Azpilicueta to Pulisic, who was arriving right at the edge of the 6-yard box, finding space. He was onside, and he just put it right at Kevin Kelleher, who pulled off a nice save. It was kind of right at him, but you definitely have to mentally be strong to make the save in that position. So good on him. And as I was saying, Lukaku and Jorginho are the two victims of Tuchel's starting 11 decision. Again, I agree with it. I think Jorginho, and Liverpool try to find Diaz down the left-hand side, but expertly tackled by Chalobah. And Chelsea have had the opening 6 minutes in terms of possession. Obviously one big chance as of yet. But I think we should expect to see Liverpool kind of regain control or gain control for the first time in the match in the next couple of minutes as Fabinho fouled Azpilicueta about 30 seconds ago. Azpilicueta goes to ground, and as soon as he possibly can get up, is gesturing it for a yellow card. My personal opinion on Azpilicueta is that he has been washed up for. He's fine. He's a good leader. I don't have anything against him there, and he's obviously been an incredible signing for Chelsea. He's been there for like 8 seasons now or whatever. But I think if you're Chelsea, that is certainly a position where he's got to be like a James Milner type of role in the team if you really want to have success as a Chelsea fan. Marcos Alonso has gone up, and I'm a Marcos Alonso fan, but I think people give heat for Trent for being poor defensively, but I don't know. I mean, Alonso's career, again, I respect it because I think when he is in the mood, he is a left wing back to be feared in terms of free kicks and attacking at the back post and even shots from around the box. So, but yeah, I mean, his career just goes up and down, and definitely depends on the manager, whoever is the manager at the time of Chelsea, whether they love him or hate him. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious what people think his current ability, to use a football manager term, is on Alonso. Obviously, he's starting today, and I think that's also down to Chilwell being out for the season. Yeah, so, man, I had to do a quick fix on the starting lineup. It actually behooves me that I was late in starting the stream because the Thiago news broke just as the players were walking out of the tunnel. So Naby Keita with the start, and I wish of course all the Liverpool players the best in terms of staying fit. That's the best way to maximize the usage of your team. But I mean, you have, despite overall a whole lot of health. Oh wow. A heavy touch by Marcos Alonso, and you would have thought that Trent would have come and gotten it, but he didn't. He stayed conservative and just let Alonso kind of stumble back into possession of the ball. But then there was another kind of odd clearance by Robbo. The ball was coming in towards him, and the ball was dipping. He already committed to heading it away. He ended up heading it about 2 yards off the ground. Grealish 10, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for supporting the channel. And Grealish 10, for those of you just joining us, is a Man United fan, although and Diaz is in the box. He plays it centrally to Mane, and he went down, looked like he kind of got tripped up, didn't appeal for the penalty. At first glance, it kind of looked like maybe that was a decision to be made. But good on Liverpool for not, appealing. Any club is likely to appeal for any sort of foul, regardless of circumstance. Oh, and Mane carves up Chalobah, finds Diaz in the box, who tries to get a shot away, but it is blocked, I think, by Silva. Liverpool starting to get in the mood, maybe still in first or second gear, but good to see Liverpool finding their front foot. You got 5 Liverpool players as Rudiger has the ball 30 yards from his goal. You had the entire front 3 along with Hendo and Naby really kind of up. Not necessarily pressing, but definitely a high line in terms of a pressing presence. So that's good as well. In terms of predictions, I expect Liverpool to win this match. I also expect there to be goals. Hopefully, not jinxing. Oh, and Kovacic was just about losing possession of the ball. He tried to slide tackle, drop past it to maintain possession back to Thiago Silva, but that was a very risky and unwise decision as I think I have. Sorry, just noticed something that's probably wrong. There we go. All right. As Salah almost ran onto that and fashioned a breakaway chance for himself, but was not able to advance. Here's Thiago Silva down, and he looks like he may have to be substituted. There are two trainers on the pitch. He either looks like he got the wind knocked out of him or maybe a dislocated shoulder. He's raising that left arm and in those arm circles. But yeah, in terms of predictions, I do expect Liverpool to have the majority of the chances. Chelsea are no slouches. Chelsea are certainly a good team. I just think that Liverpool are in better form, as well as I do think that Liverpool are the better team. But as I said, Chelsea are no slouches, and I do think that this is going to be a game where whoever has the good chances, you have to really capitalize on them. It may seem obvious to say, but if each team has 3 to 4 good chances, it may just be who's got their shooting boots on today, and normally money would back Mo Salah to get on the score sheet. I think Mane probably. I think if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would put my money on Mane to score today. He's taking up the false 9 role, which he's fully capable of playing, and yeah, I'll be really excited to see Diaz. He's just had an electric start to his Liverpool career. And in terms of statistics, not that I'm about to rattle off statistics, but sort of a summary or paraphrasing of the statistical story through the season is that the numbers in terms of shots and goals allowed for the season in the Premier League are very similar between Chelsea and Liverpool, actually, but the attacking or scoring numbers are really night and day. Liverpool, as you would probably guess, have had I think we've already scored 100 goals for the season in all competitions. I mean, we just beat Leeds 6-0. And Liverpool, and this is exactly why, again, not even to pat myself on the back about my predictions earlier in the season, but this is exactly why you can't rule Liverpool out. This Liverpool defensively are not, and Mason Mount gets the ball in the box, but it is blocked by Matip. His deflection comes out to Kovacic, who takes a thwack from 30 yards, also blocked by Matip. Here's Diaz, who gains possession, and he's going to take on Chalobah. He seems very confident in, he tries a no-look pass to, I believe, Sadio Mane, who almost really regrets that mistake. Another almost poor loss in possession for this time Liverpool. Last time it was Chelsea. Here's Chalobah, who tries to slide and get the ball. It's Sadio Mane who gets it on the corner of the 18. Chalobah is protesting, I think mainly because he looks sort of like an idiot, sliding and then remaining on the floor. Basically just stopped the ball for Mane, who tried to pick it up and skirt around him. That was looking like a dangerous chance, but Chelsea had enough defenders back to thwart that Liverpool advance. Liverpool already starting to warm some players up on the far sideline. I think that's Harvey, and I'm not sure who else. There's Diogo Jota on the bench. He's looking pretty enthusiastic. I do think that he'll probably feature later today. Also on the bench there are Konate and Taki. Unfortunately for Taki and Origi, who have really, I mean, without them, there's no way that Liverpool would be in the final. Some last second magic from Divock Origi this season, and Taki being our I almost said all-time goal scorer in the Carabao Cup. I'm not quite sure that he's gotten there yet, but it was pretty funny to see on the pre-match statistics that our top goal scorers in the competition. Oh, and a beautiful ball right down the gut. That was almost a Fabinho style, really low trajectory through ball from Trent to Sadio, and that was what you call what do you call it? Like a kinetic energy. That's not what telepathic connection between Trent and Sadio slightly across the field as Sadio was just gliding past all of his marks, staying on side, and he had a difficult headed chance. I mean, it was a pretty zippy ball in there through the air, and Sadio had to, really catch it right in stride and whip his neck to get a chance on goal, which he was not able to do. And the ball went very tamelessly, what am I saying? I'm still waking up, sorry. A tame effort kind of sailed wide for Sadio. But yeah, Liverpool definitely running the game right now. It's Virgil and Matip, who look especially tall today. Not sure what that's about. Maybe it's just the camera angle. But yeah, there's Virgil over to Matip. Back to Kelleher wearing the yellow strip today. Kelleher over to Matip. Plays it down the line for Sadio, interestingly, down the right-hand side. That means Mo is pretty central. Not in center forward, but almost in like a 10 spot, as here's Diaz, who gets himself back over to the left-hand side. He was in the center forward. Oh, and nice little kind of tiki-taka between Diaz and a little back flick to and Mane gets us a beautiful opportunity on the edge of the box. He gets fouled by Mason Mount, and this is Trent territory, or perhaps Salah. Definitely a left footer's chance, but I kind of think that it might be Trent anyway. But yeah, that one little quick chance, that's the second time in the match that Diaz has done this no-look pass. Firmino really rubbing off on the entire squad. We saw Virgil doing no-look passes the other week. Grealish 10 asked, what time is it there? It is 11:51 a.m. on the East Coast here in New Jersey, Monmouth County, New Jersey. Pretty cold here today. Not that you guys really care. You probably care more about the weather, if anything, in London. But it's in the 30 degrees Fahrenheit range here as I went out to get breakfast this morning. It is Trent and Salah, and distantly Hendo over the ball. Oh, and Trent flicks it more centrally to Salah, who slices it wide. That was a nice, interesting one for Salah. Oh, maybe Trent put a little bit too much more than Salah would have preferred, or maybe he just mishit it. But that was an interesting one because Trent was really lining up short stance and trying to make it look very much like his normal free kick run up, and he stepped on the ball and rolled it behind him, but Salah couldn't get it on target. I don't think Liverpool have had a shot on target just yet, but nothing. It is 22 minutes in. That's gone a little bit quicker than I would have guessed. But if it were halftime right now, and Diaz loses the ball right in the middle of the field to Chalobah and Liverpool's defense. And Diaz just another errant pass. This is not. He needs to relax a little bit with these. He's a little overconfident with these passes, and it's creating some issues for Liverpool. Grealish10 says, "You're 12 hours away from me, LOL." Where are you watching from, Grealish? 12 hours, is that, are you in Russia or India, maybe? Or China? Those are my guesses relative to the East Coast, United States. Thailand, okay. Grealish, your thoughts on the game so far? Who's been playing well? Who's been playing poorly? I think if I were either manager, again, I'm kind of zipping ahead. There's still an entire half of the half left. But I'm not sure I would make any changes if I were either manager just yet. Short corner to Diaz, and he plays in. Virgil had a half volley effort that looked like it was headed goalwards. Mason Mount, not for the first time, is really trying to gallop forward, and this time it is Keita. Virgil is not happy at all about this decision, as Mount is rolling around on the floor. Here's Cesar Azpilicueta, who's trying to talk about elbows. What a quack. Everybody should just back up from the referee. But yeah, this little controversy aside, I would say Mason Mount has been galloping forward. This is probably the third or fourth time. Here we're going to show the replay again. And here's Naby. And Naby catches him with an elbow, but it's completely incidental. I also think that Naby gets in front of Mount first. That's not even a foul. This is trash. I mean, they were traveling at pace, so it probably looked a little bit more physical than it was, but come on. I mean, in the early 2000s, that's not even a foul. Mount, if anything, ran into Naby's elbow. But there you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is, in the modern game, teams are just going to... teams lack integrity in terms of just trying to do what's ever best for their team as opposed to fair. But yeah, I mean, it already looks like... Now, I don't know if this is a Tuchel-led thing. I would guess not. In terms of, let's try and get them to pick up cards, in a very Diego Simeone way. It kind of is giving off that vibe a little bit, but I would say it's probably more so just Azpilicueta kind of on a solo kind of, I was going to say vendetta, but, solo mission. That's just how he is, and that really rubs me the wrong way. But luckily the ref has, been able to make his own decisions thus far. Robbo plays a ball in, and that's deflected in behind for a corner. Just chatting to my boy Liverpool Lee, who is en route to somewhere. That's why he couldn't join us today. Here's Robbo with the cross. And pinballs off of Azpilicueta's thigh, and that really looked like that was unexpected. It looked like the ball was going to divert and possibly even go in for an own goal. There was enough crowd. Oh, here's Matip, who takes the ball in off the chest. Almost looked like he was going to try and bike it or volley it forward or back flick it. There's a whole lot of suspense with that ball being brought under control by Matip towards the top of the box after a nice cross by Diaz. Yeah, here it is again, and it's now they're showing this replay as possibly a handball. I do think it hit his hand. Again, I try to be fair with these things. It did have a big impact on the direction of the ball, so you could say that. I probably wouldn't have given it, but of course, Azpilicueta gives one of these after appeals for the handball. So inconsistent, such a quack, as I said, and I'll leave it PG for today. But yeah, Liverpool Lee saying he's watching on his phone, and we are picking on Chalobah, and Mount is a bad word, he says. I actually think Chalobah, I think he's actually done pretty well. I get what Lee is saying in terms of it does seem like we're picking on him. Here comes Trent with a corner aimed for Virgil at the back post, but no individual player was able to get a real firm header on it. Salah retains possession for Liverpool, plays it to Mane, out to Trent, into Hendo, who brings it down and tries to lay it off for Mane. And a lot of little almost chances being fashioned by Liverpool. Again, I like it. But we'll definitely want to get some shots on goal and test Mendy, the AFCON winner, along with Mane. Robbo plays it into Mane, and Chelsea able to snuff that out. Beautiful bit of anticipation by Keita, who jumps in front of Mount, who is about ready to launch a counter-attack, but he gambled and won there. Could have either committed a foul or not won it, and then all Mount would have had to do is just turn and dart forward. But yeah, and Timo Werner was just shown warming up on the sideline. Kind of hilarious. I was listening to the Blood Red podcast, and they had behind. Oh, here's another no-look pass by Diaz. I don't realize. Oh, a beautiful effort! Oh, and it's Sadio who had a chance from 3 yards on the parried save by Mendy, and it was blocked, I believe, by a defender. Right over. Mane got the ball towards the top of the box, laid it off to Keita, who had acres of space to just run onto the ball, gets an undeflected shot in on the goalkeeper. And wow, that is a beautiful save by Mendy. A pretty decent save from Keita in the first place, but his parried effort fell right to Sadio, who wanted to just blast. I mean, I don't think he did a whole lot wrong. A lot of people will probably criticize him for not burying that, but I mean, he put a firm effort on goal from 3 yards, and Mendy was just able to recover and tip the ball over from really close range. So credit to the Senegalese making a save on his countryman. Mike Zaza says, Mane out, Jota in. I think that is harsh, even if this was the 60th minute. I'm not sure I would agree, but certainly in the 31st minute, I'm not looking to make any changes, and definitely crossing my fingers that no injuries occur. Yeah, I mean, now's about a good time to kind of share my feelings on the importance of the Carabao Cup, which I think is next to zero. I won't lie. Again, I try to be honest with everyone. I try. Though some of my friends would probably accuse me of being a biased Liverpool fan, I always try to be as unbiased as I can be. And just because we're in the Carabao Cup final, and should we win it, I'm not going to all of a sudden tell you like, oh, this is so great. Do I want to win this match? Yeah, sure. And I do, I think it's important, if for no other reason, just then just to add to Klopp's legacy, it would be nice to win. You're right here. You're one game away, so it would be nice just to win it and pick up the trophy. To be honest, I think its influence or impact is really more just like fuel to the fire for this season, as opposed to again honors. But yeah, I mean, I think when all is said and done, when Klopp one day does sadly leave Liverpool, it would be nice to say, oh, he won every trophy on offer. I mean, he's already won the two important ones, and I would say there are only two important ones. The Community Shield means nothing. Carabao Cup means next to nothing. FA Cup, an inch above the Carabao Cup, but really, for any of you that may disagree with me, this is how I look at the domestic cups in England. At a top four club, or even, I think there's even beyond top four clubs nowadays. I mean, obviously it used to be United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and then obviously City had come along, and Tottenham. But yeah, I think any of those top six clubs, if you won the Carabao Cup and you had an otherwise like vanilla or disappointing season, the board is not going to be happy with that. Nobody wants, also put it this way, nobody wants to start the season and go, oh, I really want to win the Carabao Cup this season. It really, you finishing in third place versus fifth place. I mean, I guess that's obvious to say because there's a Champions League implications, but that's far more important than winning, the Carabao Cup or even the FA Cup. It really just doesn't matter, and you see that too by team selections, particularly the big teams. Just playing kids for pretty much every round unless they get to a final. So it really, that to me is, it doesn't have any defining moment really on, it's really more of a footnote is I think the best way of saying it. Here's Mata who picks up the ball. We just needed a layoff there from Mane, who had a lot of pressure from the back, but he had Mata. And here's Havertz getting slid through. Is he offside? I think he knows he is, and Kelleher makes a save. Very late flag as per usual, but Kelleher makes a nice save, spreads himself wide, and that would have gone out for a corner, but it certainly was not going in the back of the net. That was Pulisic. No, that was... Is it Pulisic? Yeah, that was Pulisic who was slipping Havertz through. He should have made the decision far earlier than that. I mean, Havertz was in miles of space. But again, really good to see Kelleher coming up big and strong and confident in himself. The biggest compliment you can give to Kelleher is saying that Alisson just hasn't been missed thus far this match. I'm not saying anything beyond this match, just that, if Alisson were in the game, he wouldn't necessarily be doing any better than Kelleher is doing right now. Good save, says Grealish 10. I agree. That offside rule is something that's really bothering a lot of people. Recently, I know... nice ambitious ball over the top from one of, I believe, Liverpool's center backs, trying to find Mane, and he was just... I stepped on my shoelace, that's why I lost that one. But, what was I saying? The offside rule, that somebody's going to get hurt, or just an unfair progression of play. That's something. And it's Salah at the back post. Was almost on the end of that, as Salah thinks Liverpool should have a corner. It looks like, based on his reaction, that they're giving a goal kick. Beautiful ball in by Robbo there. And it was Alonso who, I believe, headed behind there, but maybe Salah got like a little deflected touch there, as looks like Liverpool are going to have Here's Diaz on screen, kind of running across the pitch. Okay, good. I didn't think he was hurt or anything, but they kind of were panning on him at a very zoomed in, non-contextual way where I didn't know if he was being substituted, but good to see that, again, no injuries. But yeah, the offside thing, I get why they do it. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm also not, completely enraged by it. I do think it's stupid. If something is pretty obvious, which a lot of times they are, then just blow the whistle. Just stop the play. But I do understand that, in this VAR age, which, again, also not a fan of VAR, but we have it here, and I think it has gotten better this season. You could talk about the Rodri handball yesterday was an absolute absurdity. But I graciously didn't allow myself to get too enraged by it. It's a brutal decision, but I had Liverpool Lee telling me how he wished that at the time in the 80th minute that Everton held on to the 0-0 draw. I knew as soon as you expect Everton to pull out a result for you, that's right where it's going to go. I turned the game on, and 1 minute later, City had scored. Now, granted, that penalty, would have been the equalizer if you assume that Everton converted that. But, that was just such a brutal decision by Chris Kavanagh, who now people are cataloging all the decisions that have gone against Liverpool. But anyway, it would be really hard to take if that's the difference. If we lose the league by 2 points, then that'll be the tough pill to swallow there. Here's Diaz gesturing for a yellow card on Azpilicueta, a little taste of his own medicine. I don't love to see it, but maybe I can let that slide for karmic reason. So I was saying earlier that I was listening to the Blood Red podcast in the build-up to this match, and they had Behind Enemy Lines, so they had, I think his name was Daniel Childs, a Chelsea fan, who really was giving a whole lot of respect to Liverpool, and fairly so, and he was saying that Liverpool are just coming into this as favorites, and anyway, he was talking about Timo. He taught me that Timo Werner has not started a Premier League match since December 11th. So he basically was saying he wasn't even in the conversation. It's just so interesting. Again, I want to kind of broadly tie this conversation back into the video podcast that I did yesterday in terms of squad depth, and when things aren't going well, it's so easy to say, it's so easy to bemoan a lack of signings or whatever. But earlier this season, Chelsea, look, overall, I don't think Chelsea are a mature enough team to compete with City and Liverpool, but they have great depth and options. I think earlier this season I sent out a tweet, which I think is pretty good one, if I may say, that Chelsea are an artillery of B+. They have so many great options. They have great depth, and earlier in the season, Azpilicueta tried a shot from the top of the box, which sailed over, but was definitely close enough live to maybe have your heart in mouth a little bit. But anyway, earlier in the season when Liverpool were struggling with depth, people were saying that, really what a team needs to compete with City is Liverpool's quality and Chelsea's depth. Chelsea have such a breadth of attacking options, which if I were a Chelsea fan, I would be so happy about, because that's really what kicked off Klopp's reign at Liverpool, I don't think not a lot of people talk about this, but Klopp inherited such mediocrity, and in the season where we signed Salah, we still hadn't signed Van Dijk, mind you, and the defense was the glaring problem. But I think what Edwards and Klopp realized, and credit to them for having such the patience for doing this, that they knew they wanted Van Dijk, but they couldn't get him quite yet, so they signed Salah, and people were saying, the classic Twitter meme of Liverpool's front line is a Ferrari and their back line is a beat up Toyota Corolla. And Andy Robbo just screamed obscenities at the referee because Conte pretty much football tackled him in a tussle on the sideline, but no call. Here are Chelsea, left-hand side. Here's Mount, who's shuffling around on his invisible skateboard. And anyway, so as I was saying, Klopp really zigged when everyone thought he was going to zag and really just bolster, okay, we're not going to get the defensive player we want. We're going to completely bolster our attack. And then that's when, the Norwich 5-4 is really emblematic of that season. That, okay, our defense still isn't sorted, but rather than sign Michael Keane or Ben Mee or somebody in the meantime, we're going to wait for the player we really want and see how we can do with the attack just never being our problem. The ridiculous claim by Chelsea players that there's a pass back from Trent to Kelleher. Trent swung a boot to boot it up forward and it sliced off his foot. Chelsea just claiming for anything they can possibly get. I think the desperation just shows how much they need help from wherever they can get it. But anyway, so I would sort of equate Chelsea to being in that position that Liverpool were in, that they have so many great attacking options. I mean, it's kind of bizarre. Oh, and wow, what a missed chance by Mount. Nice little, when Chelsea have had, when they have made chances for themselves, it's been this little come centrally, play out wide, and then sort of give and go style, even if it's not a exact 1-2 between the exact players. But there is Havertz playing it through to Mount, who really should have buried that one. I mean, the goal was gaping with Kelleher, was straight down the middle of the goal, and I'm not sure, Mount was way onside there. Beautiful little ball for Havertz, maybe a touch behind him, but Mount has to put that on goal at the very least. And he put it just wide. There will be 1 minute of added time in the first half, which will likely end level. But as I was saying, I mean, again, people will probably disagree with me because I'm making this statement at this exact time where Lukaku isn't starting a final and Timo Werner is, a ghost. But, that doesn't mean... listen, I'm not a Timo Werner fan. I think we dodged the bullet in not signing him. I never really was a Werner fan. But, I mean, you're really painting with a broad brush if you think he's useless or his career is done or something like that. I mean, this is... Is it still Germany starting forward? Maybe his career isn't at Chelsea, but somebody can get a tune out of him for sure. And you just have all these options. I mean, Pulisic not necessarily being a nailed-on starter. I mean, I would like Pulisic at Liverpool. He would be a great player in this Liverpool team. That is the halftime break. So I will take a bit of a break, but let me just finish my my little commentary on Chelsea's team. Again, I do think that they're in a little bit of where United are, where they have some players that are just good but not good enough, a la Maguire or Luke Shaw. I won't get on United, but I think Chelsea need to improve on. Thiago Silva, for me, isn't really the answer. Azpilicueta, Kovacic is a little, hit and miss. But yeah, I mean their attack, which again, funnily enough, you'd think like, oh, this doesn't add up. Scott, you already said that they haven't been firing, but that's just like a system thing. Again, when Liverpool are scoring so many goals, it's because Liverpool's system, like Klopp's system, is scoring goals. And yeah, sure, we have Salah and Mane who are goal machines, but you know, when things are going well, Hendo's scoring, Matip is scoring. When things are not going well, on the flip side, even your attackers are not scoring. For Chelsea, Havertz only has 2 goals this season, so that's just not good enough. And yeah, maybe it's how they set up. Maybe they're too counterattacking. Maybe they need to be more aggressive. But I think overall Chelsea need to. Now I'm talking about obviously squad planning. I'm not talking about this game itself, but I am also speaking towards the moment that they're in, and when again things aren't going super well for Chelsea. Obviously they've dropped pretty far back in. They're out of the title race. And yeah, it's because you can't. They can't depend on Lukaku, who they just spent 90 million on. Havertz isn't really doing it. He might be a nice player, but he's so streaky. Mount is good. Pulisic, I think, is good, but he can be streaky as well. You got Hudson-Odoi, who, I don't know why he would want to stay at Chelsea. He just never is the preferred option. So Ziyech too. So yeah, it's just I don't know. It's you gotta the flip side to overstocking on those attacking players. You gotta keep people happy, and that can be a house of cards because if it's seeming not to work, and then people sort of give up on your your vision or your experiment. If you're a Tuchel, then that's a whole nother issue. If Ziyech now wants to leave or whatever. So anyway, this is where I will take my halftime break. Hopefully some more action, more goals in the second half, and I will see you very shortly. We're back. We are back. I've got the scarf up in the background. Chelsea have... Oh, I gotta take this off. There we go. No changes, I believe, for either team. I asked... Oh wait, is my... the chat box should be up. I'm not sure what's happening with that. Well, anyway, let's try this. Okay, not sure why my previous text didn't go up, but the last thing Grealish said was Mendy did a good job. I said I agree. What changes would you make for either team in the second half? I said I would not make any changes for LFC, but first option I would have ready is Jota. And I would probably take Keita off. I don't think any Liverpool player has played poorly, but rather than take one of the front three off, who I think have all shown some sharpness, I would just go to 4-2-3-1. Why not? We're possessing the ball. It's 0-0. Put 4 attackers on. Some thoughts from Liverpool Lee via text were that Jota is one of the best finishers in the world. I mean, obviously not off the back of today because he's been on the bench, but I think he's just saying in general, and he'd like to see him. And he also said that, Havertz has taken on Matip a bit too easily. I mean, he did show some craft, but you definitely like to see getting his way a bit. A little glance there. Maybe Havertz was a touch offside, but he plays it across, and there was Pulisic sliding in. He misses it by less than a foot. If he just makes any tap there, it's in the goal because Kelleher was already beaten. But Liverpool get away with that. Here is Diaz, plays it centrally to Mane, who's going to swing it over to Salah, who's been pretty quiet in the first half. He tries to go around Rudiger. Rudiger blocks him off, but the ref says no foul. I think sometimes in situations like that, you say the attacker runs into the defender and it is no foul, but I think Salah's touch also didn't do him any favors. I mean, I think he did exactly what he wanted to do. I'm not saying he had a heavy touch, but he tried to play it around the player. It's just the thing that Salah is so fast that for any other player, it would have seemed like, he's not getting there. Mount is played through. And he hits the post. Is that going to come back for offside? And it seems like it does. I mean, this has been a game all about misses so far. That is should have been Mount's second goal of the game. Here's a look at the offside. He's way on once again. Really bad sort of offside trap attempt being played. Kelleher had no chance because Mount really had an angle on either side of him. Tried for the near post. Hit the inside. Really can't blame Mount too much there. I mean, actually, I still would blame him, but he came about as close as you can without scoring. Hit the inside of the post and went inside. Just no Chelsea or even Liverpool players were really even close to doing anything with the rebound. So once again, similar to the first half, Chelsea start strong. We'll see if they can keep that pace up. I mean, Mount just drifts forward, dead center. Like if you drew a line down the center of the field, longitude-wise, he is right in the middle of the field, and he had 5 yards of space at least between either side of Matip and Trent. And here's a flick ball from Diaz through to Mane, but Mendy comes out smartly so to punch it clear. He just beat Mane there by about a yard. Here's Kovacic, who wins himself a... Kovacic, who's looking like Mac Miller today, wins himself a free kick on the top of the D of his area. Here's Mendy, who is down with, I don't know if this is a physical contact injury or like a groin injury, but he's going to require some medical attention. Ooh, Diaz, they just played the replay. He could have, if he made the chip pass a little bit more diagonal, I think it would have been more into Mane's path as well. Well, yeah, more in Mane's direction rather than Mendy's. That could have made the difference. Yeah, Grealish is right. He said Mendy again. Yeah, if I had to pick like a man of the match so far, Mendy wouldn't have been the first name that came to mind, but now that, you know, Grealish is kind of reminding me that, you know, he's come up time and time again, and, you know, he could be the man of the match. I mean, again, I think if this were a Premier League match and you and it ended 0-0, I think you would give it to Mendy, but this match can't end 0-0. And typically, you know, pretty much in any sport, NBA or whatever, you know, when it's a final, you know, your man of the match is almost certainly going to the winning team. So I just say that because sometimes that can like skew like the true man of the match. Here comes Diaz, who tries to take on Chalobah. Chalobah was looking a little bit nervous, but he did enough to get in the way of that. Lee giving some love again via text to the other goalkeeper in this match, which I think you certainly have to. I was saying some nice words about him in the first half that, you know, if Alisson were on, you know, he wouldn't really be doing any better. And, you know, that's not to say Kelleher is as good of a goalkeeper as Alisson, but he certainly is as good of a goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper as you can have in the Premier League, I would say. And, you know, Lee just said that he certainly could be a starting goalkeeper for, well, he said a starting Premier League goalkeeper, which that's, I don't even think controversial, but I was going to say to even maybe one up that statement, you know, I think he could start for maybe 10 clubs in the Premier League. That's kind of a non-well thought out thought, so I'd probably have to explore that a little bit more to see if I actually still believe that, but definitely Kelleher has had a great performance. I think I'd also like to see Harvey Elliott come on. I mean, let's be honest. When would I not want to see Harvey Elliott? He's a great player, but I do think that he certainly could unlock. I mean, there's a lot of play. Again, Liverpool have the luxury. Here comes Diaz down the left-hand side. He is outpacing Chalobah. Cruyff's it back to his right foot. Oh, and he tries an effort on goal, but Chalobah is able. I gotta get used to this camera angle. Sorry, I keep standing up and then going off screen, but yeah, he kind of carves up Chalobah. Chalobah able to retreat and get back into position. Diaz was looking to cross it centrally, then decides he will take an effort on goal. Can't really blame him because Chalobah was kind of this way, then that way. So Liverpool have a corner. It's Andy Robbo here on the near side, left side of the field as Liverpool attack from right to left in this second half. It is the 55th minute, so here is about the normal sort of early territory where managers will start making changes, particularly when you've got 5 substitutions to make. Here's Azpilicueta with his hands on his knees. Either sucking wind, or I think he might just be wincing in pain, not really sure what kind of pain he is experiencing, but he's going to be off. It'll be Reece James on. I mean, there you go. That's another example. I'm going to speak in a complimentary way of Chelsea. Again, people get carried away about Reece James versus Trent, but Reece James is a very good right back. I was going to use the word great. I think he's a little short of great as a right back, but he can be a very dangerous guy for Chelsea. Kind of surprised that he didn't start, but maybe it's the Liverpool hoodoo. I mean, every time Reece James plays against Liverpool, he tends not to have a great game. Liverpool leads saying bring on Konate, and then he kind of took it back. He doesn't actually know if he would make that change. But just commenting that Joel has not been at his best today. Azpilicueta gave a little bit of a kiss to Reece James as he came on. I don't know if that was like a final message or if they have some sort of right back bond or something. Here is Robbo down the left hand side of the field. This is Rory Delap territory. Not that Robbo possesses a particularly long throw. He tries to find Diaz, but it is booted away by Reece James. First touch is Havertz, who is battling with, I think, Virgil, and didn't get too much of a touch on it. Liverpool on the ball. Mo Salah drops it back to Trent, who tries to chip it forward, and nobody was on the receiving end there. I think Trent isn't having his best game. I don't think he's having a poor game, but when he's on, he's David Beckham out there. He puts the ball wherever he wants. He creates things. I think there's a couple, wayward balls, which is fine, but it's just, when I call somebody a confidence player, it's usually an insult, and I certainly would not call Trent a confidence player, but what I will say is when it's not going well for him, it's really not going well for, great save by Kelleher as Mount takes an effort on goal. Credit to Mason Mount. He is sort of living up to Sky Sports, kind of in their American style marketing, branding. They always brand the game between the two stars, and they put Mount up with Salah. But yeah, Mount certainly has been Chelsea's most attacking player. And he gets an effort on goal. Kelleher makes a nice save. There was a little bit of a bobble, and there was an onrushing player, I believe it was Havertz, so he did really well to regain possession very quickly so as to not hand Chelsea the opening goal of this match. Nice tackle by Hendo, and Liverpool win the throw-in. Throws it into Mane, who ducks underneath it as a dummy for Keita, and there's a collision there, and it looked like modern-day nasty, but the ref lets play continue. I agree with that, and here comes Chelsea, screaming, and Chalobah's slapping the floor, acting like he has a broken leg, Keita the same. I don't know. They still remain on the ground. My guess is going to be that this is not that bad of a challenge. They both kind of went into it, studs up. Keita catches him on the inner thigh. It doesn't look good, but whatever. That happens. Be a man. This is football. It's a contact sport. Nothing malicious. It's just these players are going to make it seem like, that is such an awful challenge. Get the red card out, whatever. But let's see if this actually goes to VAR or anything like that. Grealish said that should be a red. What do you think? No, Grealish, I disagree. I kind of just said my feelings on that. That, they both went for the ball. Okay, Keita missed. You can give a foul if you want, but I mean, honestly, that's just a coming together. A lot of people will probably disagree with me because in the modern game, if you have your stud showing and you don't make 100% contact with the ball, then you're some kind of villain. But I mean, again, there's so many ways to look at things like this. If intent is relevant or not, I think particularly in a situation like this, if you want to even have the discussion about whether this is card worthy, and Chalobah's fine. As I said, there's nothing to see here. There's no injury. He's going to make the most of it to try and get Keita sent off. I don't even think a card was brandished there. Good on the referee. And I even think you give even more credit to the referee rather than just that incident, whether you got the incident right or not. I think if you kind of give into Chelsea's antics of wanting a card, then I think that carries on. But as the ref takes a firm stance and makes his own decision, I think that further emboldens him to continue making his own decisions rather than, kind of giving credence towards Chelsea complaining and getting what they're looking for. Virgil on the ball, swings it over to Matip. Ooh, he does a little dangle in between Havertz and Mount as he was the last man. Very risky, but also very experienced, head on his shoulders. But Chelsea are now in possession. It's Alonso down the left-hand side. Keita makes a block, and it is Chelsea's ball for a corner kick. Mount will be taking it. So the match ball is made by Puma, but I've been wondering to myself this whole match, is this it looked very much like the Nike Geo Merlin, I think the 2002 Premier League ball with almost the rounded plus sign. And I was wondering if this was a throwback, which would definitely, a lot of, oh wow, and Mendy tries to clear it. Oh, and it's solid. Threw it on goal. This must be the opening goal of the match, and it chips it. Oh, and it's Thiago Silva who returns and clears it off the line. I don't even know if it would have stayed in through on goal. Salah had to take that chance. Particularly now I'm really starting to say that this game is about taking chances. Mendy, almost with a gift there, tried to play it upfield. Stayed completely as a grass cutter, went straight to Fabinho, very quickly played it forward to Mane. Mane slipped Salah through. He played the exact early ball that Pulisic needed to play to Havertz earlier in this match. This is the same end of the pitch since that happened in the first half, and very similar. Salah tries to chip Mendy, and like I said, Thiago cleared it off the line. He just needed a little bit mustard on that, but I agree with the decision to chip Mendy. It wasn't even really a chip per se. It was more just kind of dink it off to the side of the goalkeeper rather than, when I think chip, you kind of just, golf shot it right up and over. But just need a little bit more mustard behind that and it would have been a goal. But yeah, it's late enough in the game where, these little missed chances could define the game. I hope not for Liverpool's sake. On the whole, I do think Liverpool, if you have to force a winner out of this match, it should be them. We have the quality and the, I would say the amount of chances as opposed to the momentum. I think the momentum is really going back and forth here. Pretty even game. Mo Salah must have been fouled there by Alonso. And he is. Okay, I thought, based on the camera's done a very good job of I guess this is why you need commentary, but yeah, there's Salah being wrestled to the ground there by Alonso. Based on Salah's reaction. I thought that it wasn't given again. But here it is. Salah, very similar position to the first half free kick where Trent played it to Salah on the inside, and Salah sliced it very wide. So we'll see what happens here, but now it's 4 over the ball. The ball isn't even on the floor yet, but it's Trent, Salah, Hendo, and Robbo who is furthest from the ball. Yeah, Grealish, I'm just catching up to his comments. Thanks for, commenting throughout the game. I love to have the back and forth with the viewers, so I do appreciate it. Grealish has always been a loyal fan. Here's Trent playing to the back post to Mane. Oh, and it's Matip with the goal! It's a 1-0 Joel Matip, and I should have read out the comment right before the goal. Grealish 10 said Matip back on his best now, and he also said wonderful clearance for Thiago Silva. There is the opening goal of the match. It is 1-0 to Liverpool, and Joel Matip is fired up. Joel Matip is going on his own Fabinho goal-scoring run of form, but beautiful ball to the back post. Hopefully, everybody's onside. Mane goes to the back post, heads it down. Matip is there. You're going to ask questions about Thiago Silva there for not being assertive or having the awareness that Joel Matip was right behind him. And Matip is right there to head in. He almost missed. It was almost impossible to miss, but he roofs it from 2 yards on the header. And there is the opening goal of the match. 1-0 to the Reds. And hopefully that is enough to... Possible offside they're checking. Okay. The only possible thing they could say is that Virgil's foot was probably just offside as he was tussling with whoever was marking him, but he doesn't really have any... I mean, I have said in the past that if any player is offside in this sort of situation, it should be blown up as offside. Because if you've ever played football, if you're determining an offside trap, any player is obviously having an impact because you have to have the awareness. But I do think that the way that they interpret it in England, right or wrong, that this will not be taken back because Virgil didn't have any impact other than just standing. He makes no attempt at the ball. He doesn't get in anybody's way. Okay. I mean, there's nothing more than just normal tussling. It's not a foul. It is Reece James that was marking, but Reece James is the nearest player to Mane, so are they going to say that Virgil impeded Reece James from catching up to Mane? Oh my God, and they take it back. It's 0-0. Well, they're going to make Liverpool work for it. Ridiculous. Virgil is scoffing at the main Jumbotron or whatever. Anyway, I will move past that quickly. It's still Liverpool's game to win, but that will be a headline if Liverpool do not win this match. Yeah, just catching up on the comments. Mike Zaza says, Matip, Grealish says, get in. I told you Matip is back on his best. You did, Grealish, so I'll give you that credit. Well done. Zaza said, offside. Grealish said, no way. So, yeah, if my comments are anything to go by, which I think they're intelligent fellas, I think that that kind of gives you an indication of how Twitter will probably be reacting as well. Oh, and here's Diaz, who plays it essentially. Oh, it was Keita who was rushing in, and Thiago Silva is really trying to G up his defense. That was, I don't really know how close Keita was getting to getting on the end of that chance, but well done to Salah. He is starting to finally get himself into the mood in this game. Plays it to Mane, plays it out to Diaz, who plays it centrally, and it was Thiago Silva, who had to clear the ball, out for a corner. Mendy is grabbing his ankle. I think he might just be trying to slow things down in terms of momentum. But yeah, Keita probably was just out of reach for him. But that was one of those, if you just get the slightest touch on goal, it's a goal because it beat the keeper. Here's Trent coming over to Robbo's side for the in-swinging corner. Come on, Liverpool, let's bite right back on that terrible call. Diaz gets it towards the back post after it evades just about everybody. Salah points to Robbo to get the ball. He plays it to Trent, who tries to backheel it, not so successfully down the line, but it is a 1-2, and here's Trent, plays a left-footed ball in, and it's Chalobah who blocks it. That looked like a dangerous one. Credit to Trent, that was a nice left-footed ball. Here's Kelleher, plays it up to Robbo. Chelsea are entirely in their side of the pitch. Fabinho is going to play it across to Diaz. Let's see, Diaz's aerial presence does fine enough with Alonso, but neither really won the ball. It is Chelsea now. Kovacic to Conte, Chalobah to Reece James. Back to Mendy, whose ankle seems fine. Here's Virgil, who wins a standing duel with Havertz, even from behind him. It's almost like he tapped Havertz on the shoulder and said, "I'm winning this one," and he was able to head it right behind Havertz. Here's Mane, who gets brought down by Conte, as it wasn't really too much of a counterattack. We won it pretty high up the field. Here are two changes from Chelsea. It's going to be Werner and Lukaku coming on. Mount will be coming off. I think Liverpool fans will probably be happy to see that. He makes way for Lukaku, and I believe the other change will most likely be Havertz. Now they were saying, again, I don't, pretty similar to the NBC studio crew. I don't really put too much stock in what Craig Burley or Steve Nicol have to say, but they were saying both before the match and during halftime that they didn't even think it was a controversy that Lukaku or Werner started, Lukaku in particular, and I would agree with that. However, this is right about the time where I do think Lukaku, it's just like basically substituting on like Chris Wood towards the end of the game. He's going to make you nervous that they can just boot the ball forward, and he's just a presence. I don't think on the whole he does such wonders for their system, but he's something different. And maybe they lose a bit with the counterattack, the fluidity of that, but if they just leave Lukaku up there, it's another thing to worry about. No look pass by Diaz up to Sadio Mane. He plays it to the back post, doesn't have the accuracy to find Salah, but he shows great work ethic to keep the ball in on that far side. Actually, now I was kind of ignoring Werner, but obviously he's a counter-attacking threat. So you kind of have, not even yin and yang, but you just have two different options between Werner and Lukaku. And here they show the VAR decision again. And, on one hand, you can't argue with it. Virgil's foot is offside. It's just all how you interpret the passive offsides rule. I just wish we could, almost as a metaphor for all of society, I wish we could go back to the days of less technology in the game. Here's Diaz racing away. Can he score? Oh, and he tries to Meg Mendy. He looks like he was going to cut it in on his favored right foot, but he decides to drag it with his right, put onto his left, and take a chance. Mendy's legs did spread for just a second, but credit to him. Another big save by Mendy. And he is able to block it out for a corner. And Trent comes over to try and make the most of this later in the game chance. 15 minutes left in regulation. Here's Trent, a really deep ball to the back post, and it's Diaz. There's some appealing. I didn't see anything. They must be appealing for handball as Diaz is. Are they going to check anything? I would think with an appeal they might. Here's the replay. It's Diaz. Oh, all right. It hit Reece James right in the gut. I don't really know. It was Virgil that was closest, and he was appealing. Mendy should be man of the match, says Realist 10. It's hard to argue with that. Although, once again, I do think since we have to find a winner in this game, if Chelsea win, you could say, oh, well, Mendy kept him in the match all game. So, not a bad shout. I think in the spirit of things, yes, I think he is probably the man of the match up to this point. James Milner and Harvey Elliott getting ready. I like that. Diogo Jota will probably not be coming on. It doesn't look like, as he has his training top under his pinny. So he is looking pretty comfortable on the bench. And yeah, that'll be interesting to see who Millie and Harvey come on for. Lukaku up in the final third for Chelsea. Nice tackle by Fabinho, but it falls to Werner, who drops it back. Now it's with Conte. Liverpool snuff it out. Oh, and Kovacic wins it high up the pitch. Plays it through to... Oh, what a save! Oh, and it's a goal for Chelsea? Or is it... No, it's offside. Wow. I mean, what a ball that was by Kovacic. He just chipped it up through for Timo Werner. I wonder who was offside there. Was it Werner or was it Havertz? There was half of a save by Kelleher before it actually ended up bouncing in through on goal. It was Diaz who lost the ball. He really needs to work on that. I'm pretty upset with him. There was Lukaku and Werner who were both offside there. Havertz was onside after that. But 2 ruled out goals for each, or one ruled out goal for each team so far in this game. There's Diaz who made it look like Chalobah pushed him in the back, but no call there. I gotta say, Stuart Atwell, pretty good refereeing game. I'm pretty pleased with it. Timo Werner has the ball down the left-hand side. I think he might have been offside again, but still no flag. He plays it towards the middle, looking for Havertz, and that's kind of what I don't like about this VAR situation with the offside, is letting play continue. Not only might you have injuries. Oh, here is Jota with his training gear off, and he is going to be coming on. It looks like Hendo is coming off for Harvey Elliott. Let's go, baby. The star boy coming on. Jota also coming on. This is a triple change. Hendo's going to give the armband directly to Milner, who is coming on for, I would think, Keita. Oh, I would just love it to see. I would love to see nothing more than a Harvey assist. Keita comes off. And Milner is really trying to G Liverpool up and keep the momentum going. It's Sadio Mane who's making way for Jota. I kind of feel bad for Mane a bit because I think he's had an excellent game. Who knows what the commentary will be on social media about Mane, since he missed the chance. He kind of just threw his coat. I think he's pretty disappointed, but this is the normal Mane frustration. This is not who was that against? Burnley, I think 2 seasons ago, when Burnley or Brighton, when he made Werner's way offside as Keller comes 30 yards from goal and heads it away. This is what I'm talking about. Blow the whistle, because now play continues. If they score off of this, they're not going to bring it back because it was offside, because it's a different passage of play. Fabinho wins the ball and he gets called on it as Liverpool were going up the field. Kovacic got the ball stripped from him, and show the replay, please. Gorilla said, I think Harvey will score a goal. I hope that you were right. I would guess that if somebody's a Grealish fan, that you would also be a Harvey Elliott fan. Not that they, they're not carbon copies of each other, but they're both, foot on the ball, driving forward type of players, smart, creative types. Klopp gets a talking to by the center ref. I agree with Klopp kind of having the ref come over, giving him problems enough to kind of call attention towards Klopp being unhappy, because there's been a couple of those calls and that can be game changers. Here comes Jota playing it through to Diaz. He's taking on Chalobah. He takes him on down the sideline, cuts it back onto his right foot, drops it back to Milner, play it to Salah, center of the box. Oh, and he plays a 1-2 with Milner, and Milner gets a little bit too excited and plays it over the goal for a goal kick. But yeah, earlier in that passage of play was Harvey Elliott on the ball. He played it centrally to Jota, and then I commentated from there. But yeah, let's get Harvey Elliott on the ball some more. I really just think that his attitude and his playing style will really open things up in such a short amount of time. Not that it hasn't been an open game, but you just need that kind of key to unlock a couple more chances before we can score a legitimate goal. Oh, Diogo Jota, the best header of the ball in the world, got that header all wrong and headed it. He was trying to flick it up and forward, and it went backwards out for a throw-in. So, but Liverpool back sort of in possession now. We've just lost it, and it's Reece James down the right-hand side, taking on Bravo. He plays a floated ball to the back post. Trent heads clear. Harvey clears it even more. And here are Chelsea on the ball, left-hand side. Timo Werner plays it to Marcos Alonso. Thiago Silva plays it out to the right-hand side. Reece James, 85,212 in attendance here today. Oh, Kelleher, does he keep it in play? I think he does. Oh, so I was saying, each time I get a close-up on the ball, it is actually a Puma ball, but it looks very much like that Nike Geo Merlin, which is definitely a nostalgic favorite for fans that watched during that time period. And yeah, I think that would be a throwback that would be welcomed by fans. I think a lot of times you get reloads of certain designs and stuff, and sometimes it's not necessary or appreciated by the fans. It comes off as lazy, but I think that was just such a golden era of the Premier League that I think fans would really get their wallets out for a reload of that Nike ball. But this is a Puma ball. This game brought to you by Puma. Harvey Elliott plays it out to Salah. Salah does a 1-2 with Trent, plays a floated ball looking for Diaz, and Chelsea kind of scampering to get that one away. The nervous energy is definitely coming from Chelsea. Short corner from Robbo to Salah. Salah plays it to Robbo, plays it along the ground, finds Diaz. He gets a shot, nice save by Mendy. Oh, and it's Robbo! Oh, Munson has another chance! Oh, just needed a little toe poke there. Oh, what a conclusion to this game. It is Trent from 30 yards. He plays it to Harvey Elliott. Whew. The heart rate is up for this one. There were so many chances there that just either looked like they were headed goalwards, or just needed a little flick. Diaz, you kind of wanted him to take like a first-time chance. Granted, there was a lot of bodies in the way. He kind of had it caught under his feet for a second, was able to get a decent shot away, but it was blocked. And then I think there was another shot from really close range saved by Mendy, and Matip just, you thought that the writing was on the wall for him to get that goal to regain, quote unquote, the lead. Oof, Chelsea coming forward as it's back to Kelleher, and he cannot get too much of an effective ball forward as Kovacic won it. And a lot of ping pong happening here in terms of possession. Here comes Chalobah, who's scampering forward from the center back position, plays it out to Reece James, plays a curled ball towards the back post, not really in the direction of too much of anyone in particular. It's Marcos Alonso who gets it. There's a foul, I guess, on Chelsea. Grealish says that was so close. Indeed it was. Indeed it was. So I believe that this match will head into extra time if it remains level. I'm quite sure of that. I don't think this is a Community Shield direct to penalty situation, so we will have bonus coverage here on Beaty's Beat if this game cannot find a winner in the next 3 to 8 minutes. Here's a ball crossed by Milner, and it hits the hand of a Chelsea player, not intentionally so, but that thwarted Liverpool's attack, and now here comes Chelsea. It's Havertz finds Conte, who is going to play it to the back post, looking for Werner, but that is headed away by Trent. Chelsea still in possession. Werner lets it go out for a throw-in. Well, however this finishes, folks, this has been a fun one. This is one of those thrilling 0-0 games. I think we still would have preferred goals. We always prefer goals, but this has definitely been an entertaining match. As I said, got the heart rate up. It's had some controversy. Again, happy. I'll reiterate, I think that the refereeing has been pretty good, despite there being a controversial moment. You know, that happens when there's two pretty even teams, close games. You're going to have opportunities for controversies to arise, so that's pretty normal. Kovacic tries to slip it forward, and Trent intercepts it, gets it forward to Jota, who tries to spring Salah, and he is fouled by Kovacic. That is a yellow, and he is very happy to take the yellow. He knew what he was doing, and he gave a thumbs up to the referee. So yeah, he grabs Salah. I mean, this is what happens to Salah. People can't keep up with him, and he just gets manhandled. Mata plays it out to Trent. Trent plays a left-footed ball forward to Jota, who brings it down, just loses possession, but he's going to body the ball out and win Liverpool a corner down the right-hand side. I suspect Trent will be taking this one. The Liverpool fans are getting pretty excited here. There are 10 seconds left in regulation. We shall see how many minutes of stoppage time will be added. Virgil is in the box. It's 6 minutes left, at least in this match. Here is Trent. Takes his very measured, 4 steps back. He puts an outswinger in, and it's Virgil! Oh, and he deserved a goal, but beautiful save by Mendy. The ball came out to Salah, who had a really nice
Oh my God, Salah is going to be absolutely enraged by this. He had a half volley blocked. They appealed for handball. Referee waved it away. Kovacic started carrying it forward. Salah wins the ball. He feels fairly, but Kovacic goes to the ground and is somewhat of a counter attack. Here is the replay as Salah shoots it. It does hit Kovacic in the arm, but his arm is right here. So again, I begrudgingly would agree with the referee. Really nice save by Mendy. Yeah, I don't think the man of the match can go to anyone but Mendy, even regardless of the result, unless there's some sort of like wonder goal where Salah dribbles 5 people and just completely wins. Oh, and it's Matip that gets bodied off the ball by Lukaku. It looked like he was on a breakaway, but he slowed it down, played it to Werner, who was really nicely blocked by Trent. Little flurry of a chance there for Chelsea. Liverpool get the ball under play very quickly. Salah looked like he was going to try and dart forward, but decided he needed some help, dropped it to his defenders. Now here's Fabinho, dead middle of the field. Plays it forward to Salah. They find Diaz, who will try to dribble Chalobah. He plays it centrally. Thiago Silva doesn't clear it too well. Jota pounces on that muffed clearance and gets a shot away that is blocked, and it will be another corner kick to Liverpool. I'm interested to see how many corners this has been. I'm going to guess over under 10. Let's see. Corners, 10. Good guess. Here we go. Trent taking all the corners now. Salah is on the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper's about 2 yards off his line. Ball gets played in. Finds the head of Marcos Alonso at the top of the 6. Diaz's far post tries to get across back in. And Jota's closest, but not close enough. Ball is going up and down and all around. It falls to Trent, who tries to take a shot from 25 yards. Something's been called. I guess it's going to be a Chelsea free kick. I'm not sure for what. Reece James is grabbing his private section. I guess he maybe got hit or something. Thomas Tuchel is kind of looking into the distance. Pretty pensive looking. I think he realizes that he's probably lucky to still be in this match. Here is Klopp, Linders, and Kravietz on the bench. They are looking very... Oh, this is a drop ball. I don't know what's happened there. Oh, I don't think Trent was too happy with that Havertz was like right in his face 2 yards from the ball on a drop ball. That wasn't very sportsmanly. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was for the Reece James injury, but the ball was dropped and Liverpool couldn't really do too much with it because there was such a crowd. Granted, it was about 30 yards from goal. Here's Chelsea playing the ball up. Really nice touch by Alonso to bring the ball down. Cushion touch from about 60 yards. Ball goes out of play, was it? Lukaku looked like he stopped playing, so I thought the ball was out of bounds. I think Keller ended up getting a save in there. A very odd sort of pace towards the end of this game. Lukaku did get a touch. I mean, nice kick save by Keller once again, putting in a fine performance. Okay, I missed some text from Lee. He has allegedly turned the game off. I'm not sure if that is actually true. Sometimes he gets a bit worked up. He gets his heart rate up in a different kind of way. Obviously wasn't happy about that goal being ruled out. I mean, again, I'm gonna try and come off as unbiased as I can, but I'm not. This is a little foolish of me to even say, because I do know that people tend not to have soft spots for Liverpool, but you do have to understand that Liverpool fans are going to be up in arms from back-to-back days, two huge decisions towards the end of games going against Liverpool, meaning in the City-Everton match, a blatant handball, as well as this goal, which was a pretty good goal. Again, this is kind of my point about, less technology the better. I think if VAR never existed, there's going to be minimal amounts of Chelsea fans that are complaining about Virgil's foot being offside. I mean, again, a devil's advocate would say Scott, but it's all about getting the right decision. And there is full time. I believe we've got extra time coming up. But just to finish that thought, is it about getting every decision absolutely right? Or I do believe in that concept of daylight. Like are we talking about micro inches or whatever? Let's just play. Like there's going to be, you can't get every decision absolutely right. And I get that goals have such a huge impact on the game, but you can't surgically dissect every single goal because it just takes the joy out of the game. Again, I think, I reiterate, I do think that is a good and fair way of looking at it, that if the opposition fans aren't going to be complaining en masse, then, what are we even talking about? So I do think that that's really a problem with VAR, and I think it's improved, but again, I'm still against it. So we shall wait for extra time. I would like to take this moment once again to just thank the viewers at home that have decided to join me today for the Beaty's Beat Watchalong. It has been a pleasure. Like I said, it's been a very good game. It's been a very good game, and I appreciate having the company. So I'm just sending out a tweet to see if we can gather up some more fans. They're just showing all the highlights, of course, before extra time kicks off. And yeah, the chances that really stand out are the two Mason Mount chances. The one in the first half, the volley where he was way onside and the goal was gaping pretty much. Keller in the goal, but he could have picked one side or another, and he missed towards the right-hand side. And then the Mount chance in the second half where he hit the post. As for Liverpool, you have the Matip goal ruled out after it had been given for a good minute or so. They're showing the crowd going absolutely nuts. Wembley was bouncing. Then you had the Salah chance where he chipped the goalkeeper. And chipped the goalkeeper. And it might have just been hitting the post, not really sure, but Thiago Silva will get credited with the clearance there. And yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Do get in the comments and let me know which way you think this match will go. You've got the two German coaches going head to head, both tactically doing a fine job thus far. But I think most people will say Liverpool will have the front foot edge. Joel Matip has his coat on, and Ibu Konate will be coming on. And he is a big boy. He's getting loose and jumping up and down on the sideline. And the first half of extra time is underway. Liverpool start with the ball, play it back to Konate, who plays it forward. And Liverpool still in possession here. It was Diaz who drops it to Robbo, who tries to find Diaz down the sideline. He gets in a tussle with Chalobah, and there is a either foul or goal kick. Diaz is not happy about his shirt being pulled. Virgil brings it down, chests it, plays it forward, little too imprecise, that's not a word, of a ball forward. Chelsea, Conte gets the ball, now it's with Fabinho. Konate. I don't think anyone wants this game more than Liverpool Lee at this point. He is spouting off at the mouth about how much he hates Chelsea, and today has just reminded him of how much. And so I'm just enjoying the game so far. Again, I'm not going to get too up or down. I mean, the EKG of the game will certainly excite me as the same with any game, but in terms of the overall, importance of this, it's, if we lose, it's okay. It's the Carabao Cup, but it is funny and beautiful what rivalry does to the fans and to the game as a whole. It almost doesn't matter what the backdrop is. If Liverpool's playing United or City or Chelsea, it's almost a biological reaction. Diaz tries to keep the ball in play, and he is down. Hopefully, I think he's just embarrassed there. Okay, that looked pretty nasty as the ball was going to the sideline. He did one of these, and then he fell, and then he was wincing and looking downward. So, of course, you fear the worst, that he's done his ACL or whatever, but thankfully, he is up and running again. Taki Minamino is getting ready on the sideline, as is Oxlade-Chamberlain and Kostas. So I think we would all love to see Taki Minamino, the Carabao Cruyff, come to the field. Lukaku has the ball in the Liverpool penalty area. Now is Werner, and he goes for a curled effort towards the back post, and it was about a yard over the crossbar. I think it was always kind of going over, but the camera angle definitely did suggest that it was going to be pretty close. He might think that, I think he was saying that was deflected, but don't think it was. Liverpool have taken the goal kick, and it's Konate playing it over to Virgil. Now, just for the fun of things, thinking a little bit into the future about penalty takers, I'm trying to think of my 5, really overall, who has the better penalty takers, who you would favor. I think a lot of that has to do with momentum, as always, as opposed to out-and-out penalty-taking ability. But I'll start with Liverpool's penalty takers. Surely you'll have Milner and Salah and Fabinho, 3 excellent penalty takers. So that right there, I think, is almost a dream team of penalty takers. Then on top of that, you would put Sadio, but he's no longer on the field. I have no idea about Diaz's penalty taking abilities. Virgil and Konate, I'm going to say no to. Although Virgil I don't think would be bad. Trent, possibly. Who knows if you maybe sub Curtis Jones on, because he is quite good at taking penalties. Harvey Elliott I don't think would be too bad either. Jota, not sure. So yeah, I mean you have, as I said, 3 excellent penalty takers, and then you could probably come up with 2 pretty decent ones on top of that. Now as far as Chelsea goes, they will almost certainly sub Jorginho on with his hop, skip, and jumps. On top of that, I'm not really sure who else would take them. I would not put it at the feet of Werner, possibly Kovacic. Here is Werner on the top of the box, traveling laterally. He plays it to Conte, who sends his shot into orbit. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I would put Havertz. I really don't know if he takes penalties, but he's German. Rudiger is also German, as well as Werner. But yeah, I don't really know. I won't even guess about. Okay, Grealish weighing in. Salah, Milner, Fabinho, Diaz, and Virgil. Again, I'm not sure about Diaz's abilities, and he might be making way for Divock Origi. And who else other than Divock Origi knows how to win games? And it will be Diaz. So there you go, Grealish. You won't get your wish. What we will be all hoping for is a little bit of this, which perhaps I should have put up earlier. Hendo, lifting the trophy later, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on the task at hand. Maybe we get a little bit of talkie action, but Origi has come onto the pitch. He comes on for Luis Diaz, so I think Origi will probably, well, he might be operating on the left wing. Here's Lukaku has been sprung through. He takes a shot, and it is a goal for Lukaku. Oh, and he's got his hands to his mouth, so he's been adjudged to be offside. Unbelievable. Wow. Lukaku. Please tell me he was offside. Oh my. Virgil looked like he might have been playing him onside. If they go to VAR, this goal could stand, and Chelsea will take the lead. He looks way onside. They call him offside. His arm, it looks like just his shoulder's a hair offside. That is, I would be livid as a Chelsea. I mean, again, I'm not getting too emotionally involved in the which way this game swings, but that is, well, just call it even. I mean, they were basically offside by the exact same amount. Of course, it depends how you draw the lines. By the eyeball of it, it wasn't perfectly drawn. The camera angle wasn't perfectly giving you that true angle, but the way they drew the line, he was a hair offside. I don't know. I mean, the replay doesn't show the clear and obvious error side of things, but I mean, he looked onside there. But whatever, you chalk it up to being even. And here's Robbo, who plays a ball in. Oh, and it was Virgil who looked like he was going to get that imperious header on it. It falls to Harvey. He plays it to Salah, who plays a floated ball towards the back post for Jota. He and his mark neither of them get a clean header on the ball. Grealish says that was close again. Yeah, I agree. You can't argue with that. It was a very close call for Lukaku, but credit to him. I mean, again, he hasn't been in good form, but he, I forget who he was with. I think he was with Konate. He's kind of stepped on the ball and then fashioned a chance for himself, and he scored it. He beat Kelleher. It wasn't like so in the corner, but again, when you have like a quasi breakaway sort of goal like that, I mean, you do sort of freeze the goalkeeper, especially if, I mean, this wasn't a breakaway type of chance where Kelleher really had the, I mean, it would have been the wrong decision had Kelleher come, because Konate was sort of with him. You kind of need to trust your defender to get in the way of a shot, if not, stop the chance before that. But yeah, good finish by Lukaku, and we'll see. Kelleher on the ball, plays it forward to Konate, forward to Trent. He finds Salah. Salah is looking up to find somebody making a darting run, but nobody is. He tries to find Elliott. He probably should have just played it square to Milner, who was more wide open, but Salah went for the riskier pass. It is Origi who's playing center forward, and you've got Jota out on the left-hand side. I would suggest that they should probably float in and out of those two positions. Not that I prefer one in one position or the other, but just, make it all that much more difficult on the defenders for, where is this player going to pop up? To assess Diaz's impact on the game, I think he was great. I think Liverpool fans are going to bloviate about how wonderful he was, and not to take that away from him. Again, I think he was great. I think he was like an 8 out of 10, but I think that there's a couple things he needs to work on, a couple things that are sort of pissing me off a bit in terms of his kind of showboatiness. He does these no-look passes. He takes some chances in positions he probably shouldn't. Now again, on the whole, I'm very optimistic about him. I think he already fits in like a glove very well. And so ordinarily, you'd think a new signing would take a whole lot longer to bed in and know what Klopp wants and whatever. But I think these are just small little things I would like corrected by Klopp's coaching staff, which, I don't have any doubts about, but, I'm just judging off of the performance that we've seen. Again, I think he's got some pretty good finishing ability, but he still is, I wouldn't say he's raw, but I typically, when you see like highlight reels, when you do some YouTube scouting of certain transfer targets, that's how I would typically describe players like Diaz, that you see like they're good dribblers, they're very dangerous, they raise the heart rate of their opposing defense, but he is not, I don't think, at that elite level of okay, he's going to get a shot away type of thing. I think he's, again, able to create danger, but I don't know if he's able to like finish danger per se, if that makes sense. So we'll just have to, but again, great game by Diaz, I think, on the whole. Here's Marcos Alonso, who plays a left-footed ball in, and it's Virgil who heads it clear. That was a dangerous ball. Here's Jota who gets on the ball. He gets bundled over by Reece James, and it is a foul. We are coming up to a minute and a half left of the extra time, and then I believe there will be a very quick switch, maybe even time for a water break for the players. Here's Konate, plays it back to Kelleher. Kelleher just standing on the ball here for a good 6 seconds, no one even approaching him. Werner does apply a little bit of a press to Virgil, who's able to quickly pass it out to Milner. Liverpool now getting up the field through Robbo. It's Origi on the ball. Nice little triangle there between Robbo, Jota, and Origi. Again, then gets dropped to Milner. Changes the point of attack to Trent, who plays a little bit too strong of a ball, and that's out for a goal kick. Looks a little chilly over there in London as Klopp has the snood around the mouth. Tuchel's given one of these. So I think Mendy's probably going to play it long here. Lukaku wins the aerial duel with Fabinho as he tried to spider. Oh my goodness! Timo Werner went Air Jordan for a second, and with the height that he got, you really thought that would have been a scary chance for him to finish, but he didn't make eye contact with it. Yeah, I mean, Lukaku, there you go. That's why he's on the pitch. Again, a little bit reductive me saying that, but he has brought that, and obviously not in form, so if nothing else, he is a big body to create trouble. And yeah, Fabinho did this spider leg thing around Lukaku's body to try and win the ball, but it kind of just bounced straight up, and then Lukaku was able to head forward, and it looks like a little bit of a nothing 50-50, but that's what created what could have been a winner for Chelsea. It did create a chance. Here's Havertz going head to head with Trent. Trent comes out on the bottom there, and here's going to be a little bit of a tussle as they have their heads to each other. That was a great little bit of theater there. By theater, I don't even mean drama. I just mean that was completely contrived. They both just want to show people that they're not going to take any crap. And now all the players are getting together, including Harvey Elliott. There's a little bit of handbags, and I probably shouldn't say that anymore. But anyway. Yeah, Trent, again, aside from the stupid drama, Trent gets a yellow, and how about we give one to Havertz as well? Yep, okay. And so Havertz bodied Trent off the ball, fairly so. Trent ended up on the floor, but credit to Trent for staying in the play because he did a little bit of scissor kick action on the floor. It would have been big trouble if Trent was just out of the play, and then Havertz was able to pick it up and dart towards goal, because that would have been a bit of a breakaway. And here we go. We're 2 minutes into the stoppage time of the first half, of which there was said to be 1 minute. Obviously, you have this little bit of a kerfuffle happening. Okay, and it is halftime. In extra time, there will be 15 minutes maximum of, there will be 15 minutes of additional extra time, and then we will head to penalties if we have not found a winner by then. The drama continues. Couple more viewers in watching the Watchalong. I thank you. Please identify yourself. Love to know who you are and your name, who you support, and where you're tuning in from. It has been a great match so far. Even though the Americans won't get it, there hasn't been any score, but it has been an entertaining game nonetheless, and there's got to be a winner. So we will see who that will be. And honestly, regardless of what happens, any further controversy, I think you got to say that both teams, again, I think Liverpool have the edge, But I think that either of these teams will be deserving of victory today. So, yeah, I mean, although it has been a hotly contested one, I don't think a lot of people around the world will probably agree or share my kind of I don't want to call it like sportsman-like behavior, but I think this has definitely shown what a rivalry this is, and there have been heated moments. There have been VAR controversies. So I can understand why people will be upset, regardless of the outcome. But I do think it's been a pretty even contest. I did see Jorginho with his training gear off, and yes, I saw correctly. He is coming on for Kovacic. I think that is probably 90% a penalty taker decision, but an ancillary benefit to that might be trying to get Chelsea on the ball a bit more. Maybe some more thoughtful passes as opposed to breakneck speed, let's get the ball forward type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think Tuchel's made some pretty good changes actually during this match, despite Chelsea pretty much chasing this game for the most part. Maybe Chelsea fans would think that's a little bit unfair of me to say, but I mean, Liverpool have had the majority of the ball. Let's see, actually statistically, I'm curious about XG, as I always am in this match, but I'm checking out the possession, 55% in favor of Liverpool. 19 shots, 4 big chances, 3 big chances for Chelsea, 11 total shots for them, and a ball played forward by Chelsea a lot too much mustard on that, intended for Lukaku. Kelleher comes to the edge of his area and catches it, plays it to Fabinho to Jota. Fabinho gets it back in the middle of the field, reloads with Virgil and Konate. Do we have XG here? I guess no live XG stats on FotMob today. Let me check Twitter. XG philosophy. After 90 minutes, XG philosophy says that it is 1.8 XG to 1.72 in favor of Liverpool, so that's very close. Again, I guess about expected. Again, I think if you take away from this game, what will probably stay in the memory is Chelsea's chances more so than Liverpool's. I think a lot of that probably has to do with Chelsea not having like so much possession of the ball or doing that much with it, aside from the chances that they've had. So credit to them for fashioning those chances with the less possession. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool had certainly a handful of opportunities inside the Chelsea area. Obviously, the goal being ruled out, and Diaz is dangling in the box. Here comes a ball from Reece James as Kelleher, again strong. He goes up along with Lukaku and gets the hand to it. Trent plays a nice left-footed half volley forward, straight up the line. Credit to him for maintaining that focus. Chelsea knocking the ball around in their own defensive third, and Liverpool putting a lot of pressure up high up the pitch, led by Origi. There's Kelleher who's booting it forward. Conte heads it down, and Reece James, not for the first time, is alleged by the Liverpool players to have handballed it, but again, no foul. Oh, Jorginho plays it forward to Lukaku. Lukaku does get a touch on it, but you can tell he never was going to quite bring it down into his sphere of control. And Liverpool have the ball. Konate just plays it straight up the pitch, pretty foolishly. We have 12 more minutes left in the regulation, and then we will go to penalties. Thank you for everyone that's sticking with us all this time. Some bonus coverage here. Oh no, it's Havertz in the box and he takes a shot. It's a goal for Chelsea. Is he offside again? He's offside. So this game has just been all offsides. I think there's been, is that 3 or 4 goals that have been chalked off due to offside? Let's see again here. Who's offside? Havertz is pretty clearly offside there. Yeah, I mean, he just needed to be more aware of where he was. Virgil has the ball. All right, the phone is down. Trent has the throw in, throws it down the line. Jota is joined by 2 Chelsea players who win the ball. Now it is a Chelsea throw. Again, 10 minutes left. Yes, Grealish says offsides again. Crazy that we still don't have a goal yet, although I probably jinxed it because I said to expect goals here. I mean, statistically speaking, I mean, again, you can't just do 1 + 2 = 3, but statistically speaking, I mean, Liverpool were 90% likely to score a goal coming into this match, and I think they said Chelsea maybe 50-50. Now again, just because you have 2, in theory, I'm not even talking about these 2 teams, but if you have 2 attacking teams, that doesn't mean, again, that you add those together and say, oh, we're going to have goals. It's all about, matchups and approaches to the game and whatnot, but I really did think that this is going to be, I mean, it has been an open game, so in a way, I don't think that I've been too wrong. Here's Milner playing a nice ball forward to Jota, who got possession, but he just got nudged off balance by Reece James, so wasn't able to do much more with it. Here's Werner now down the right-hand side. He plays a ball that I think most of the fans in the stadium believe they could do better than. And it goes straight to Keller. But here's Liverpool in possession. It's Robbo who plays the ball forward. Pretty ambitious because Origi is joined by 2 Chelsea defenders. He beats one of them. Now Origi is in possession of the ball because Thiago Silva can't maintain possession of it. Here's Milner in the midfield. He's got Harvey right to his right, but he decides to go to Trent. Now here's Salah. He tries to dangle. He's got Rudiger and Alonso for company. He runs into a bit of a brick wall there. Here's Jorginho, who doesn't have any other choice but to put the ball out of play on the left-hand side. Here is Harvey, who also doesn't have many options. I don't even know what he was trying there. I think he just saw a bunch of blue shirts and decided he had to get rid of it, but he plays it with his right foot and Mendy comes and dives on it. Here is Kepa, who just came out from the locker room, it looks like, and the camera is staying on him. I believe this suggests that, oh boy, Chalba and Conte, I think, tripped each other and they're on the floor, but Kepa will probably be subbed on for penalties. I think that's hard. I mean, that's even silly to do. I mean, I'm not even talking about that from a tactical point of view. Tactical, meaning strategic in terms of saving penalties. I just think that's unfair. Like, Tuchel, if you want to give him a bit of joy and play him, just play him from the start. The same as Klopp has done. I just don't know what the point of, hey, we're going to sub him on because, you know, like, I don't know. I just think, again, maybe this is just me not having enough respect for, like, the Carabao Cup and, like, win at all costs. I just think, just either play him or don't. Like, it's just kind of a half decision either way to not play him and then say, ooh, we're going to sub him on for penalties. Someone just texted me saying that Kepa is just going to sub himself on and then refuse to leave the pitch. I believe we've seen that before. During the Maurizio Sarri days. Oh, and Salah wins the ball high up the pitch, takes it away from Rudiger. Oh, and he should have just shot the ball. He was waiting for his better chance to come up, but Rudiger was able to get back and play the ball away. Here is Lukaku, who is hitting his top speed at 8 miles an hour down the left sideline, and he tries to play the ball in centrally, and Virgil was able to boot that ball out from danger, and it will be a Chelsea throw-in. Trent has the ball, throw in. We've got less than 5 minutes of 11v11. Chelsea get the ball. They are now in Liverpool's attacking third with Alonso down the left-hand side. Ball gets played through, and Werner looks like he's offside, but they continue play. And it will be a corner kick if they don't call offside. See, again, this is the thing. You know, you have VAR in certain situations. I don't think that they have given offside. Virgil threw a frustrated hand towards the linesman, and the camera is just staying on Kepa, who has his gloves on, just seated on the bench. They did call offside, so it's Keller who boots it forward. Again, a lot of ping pong. I think this is like really just anti-play from both teams. Nobody can win a 50-50 ball, and I think everybody's just hyped up and maybe a bit of fatigue, but Origi is the one that's able to bring the ball down. He drops it off to Robbo, gets it back, plays it to Milner. Chelsea definitely look like they're putting as many men behind the ball as they possibly can. Here is Salah, who comes very deep to get this ball. He's coming in centrally. Plays it to Origi, who lays it off. Milner, take a hit. Oh, he's central enough. Oh, there's Robbo. Oh, Robbo plays a beautiful ball in right, basically, even with the penalty spot. And it found Jota, but Jota took a swing at it and didn't make contact. So I think that is a missed chance. Jota's just, I don't know. Jota, I don't know the exact extent of his injury coming into the match, but I think that's clearly why he didn't start. I mean, I'm not saying don't substitute him on, but in fact, I did. At halftime, I did say bring him on. However, I think that he just hasn't been super sharp today. And, you know, sometimes that just happens. Sometimes with strikers, it's not your day necessarily. But, you know, when he's in the mood, he makes really good connection with the ball. And just a little bit of a disconnect with his synapses today, I think. Virgil plays it centrally to Konate. Trent has the ball. Harvey. Yeah, I mean, interesting. Here's Trent playing it forward to Origi. Oh, that was a hopeful ball, but Chalobah didn't deal with it, and it did kind of sliver through to Origi. It probably came off of him, and I think it's going to be a goal kick for Chelsea. Chelsea are making a goalkeeper substitution. Here comes Kepa on for Mendy. And Mendy has a lumbering jog over to the sideline. Claps the fans. Again, he's probably man of the match. Credit to Grealish for reminding me of that each time he makes a big save. I think you kind of have to say that. And here comes Kepa. And he gets double high fives from Rudiger and a pound from Thiago Silva. He bounces the ball a couple times and he's going to take this goal kick. Wasting time. 30 seconds left in regulation. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get any chances left. In terms of match ratings for players on the pitch, you know, overall I kind of have had this feeling in my stomach that Liverpool have played a good game, but interestingly enough, when I go through the individual performances, I don't know, you know, how many like 8s or 9s that I'd be giving out. I mean, Salah has been pretty quiet, not necessarily his fault. That's about supply and whatnot. I think Mane had a great game. Diaz had a pretty good game, maybe 7.5, something like that. Trent, I don't think has been super sharp. You have quality in performance, and then you have like impact on the game. Sometimes stat companies will show you kind of like a heat map in terms of like your impact on the game. You can have a terrible game and have a huge impact on the game, so it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. I think Trent's influence on the game has been pretty large. Klopp is fuming at a foul at first not being given, and now here's Klopp is raging on the sideline. He's screaming, even though the foul's been given. He's, you know, beating one hand into another, showing that he feels they've just been fouling, and probably a card should arise, as well as just, you know, sportsmanship. I mean, there's like fouling, but then there's, you know, disrupting the game and not letting us play sort of thing. And both Liverpool center backs on the floor trying to tussle for the ball. There is extra time. We await penalties, and we await the winner of this match. So, yeah, Grealish is looking forward to the penalties. He rightly, said Kepa has come on. We'll see what the Spaniard can do in the goal. And Liverpool have our Irishman in goal. So let's see if Kelleher can carve out a man of the match performance. Here, let's see if I can give you the final players on the pitch. You've got, oh wow, I don't even have a Harvey Elliott GIF, so I won't be able to throw him up. You've got Salah is the only front three man still on the pitch. You've got Jota and Origi. I don't even have an Origi starting thing. So anyway, this is a little silly. I'll get rid of that. But yeah, I think that I don't know. I really don't even think there is momentum in either direction headed into this penalty shootout. Kepa's looking pretty confident, although sometimes exuberance, if not met with results, can sort of fade pretty quickly. He'll know he's the man to come up with a big stop. Here's Klopp, who is screaming and really geeing up his players. We'll see who is on the penalty taking list. Again, I have to think that it's going to be Fabinho and Salah and Milner. They certainly will take penalties. Maybe you see a bit of leadership from Trent. Again, it's all about mentality. It's not really about skill. Sometimes you'll have players that are center forwards that you wouldn't tip to be penalty takers. Trying to determine who we think will be the penalty takers. Lee reminding me that Jota should be the fourth man into our slot. Maybe not fourth position, but he should take one. And yeah, Jota scored against Leicester in the penalty shootout, and he had a very exuberant celebration, so that definitely lives in the memory. Grealish says, Salah, Fabinho, Milner, Virgil, my opinion. Well, you still need a fifth one. Unless you're predicting that Liverpool wrap it up before the fifth taker. I'll take that, sure. Any sort of win. In seeing how this has gone, is this going to end in like a John Isner style endless penalty shootout? You almost can't be surprised if that's the case because of how many times a first goal has been denied in this match. It is Milner who is going to be the first overall penalty taker. He has the ball underneath his arm on the top of the D as he awaits Kepa to take his position. Here we go. Jimmy Milner. You'd put your house on him scoring. Here is Kepa, who's dancing on top of the penalty spot. The ref is telling him to take his place on the goal line. He should possibly contemplate getting a yellow card ready because Kepa is not moving as swiftly as he should know to do. Here is Milner. He steps up. Kepa tapping the crossbar. There's Milner, and he slots it to the left side in the side netting. Beautiful penalty. He did a little bit of fancy dancing, tippy toe, which I don't expect from Milner, but his job is to get the ball across the goal line, which he has done. Marcos Alonso is up next for Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea, in their history, have been up and down in penalty shootouts. I seem to remember John Terry slipping on a penalty spot, so that one stands out. I think they have won their fair share. Oh, and Alonso just slips it under Kelleher, so it's 1-1. The left back has done his job, and Milner is a sometimes left back, so you have two left backs that have scored in the penalty shootout thus far. Here is the best defensive midfielder in the world, Fabinho. He puts the ball down. Kepa is at the edge of his six. So Kepa is a member of the gamesmanship school of thought. He's dancing left and right. Fabinho, very short run up. He walks up and he Panenkas it right down the middle of the goal. What a beauty. How about that for a little bit of momentum? This is like a time in a game where in the college basketball March Madness when a slam dunk occurs and you get that momentum, the crowd roars. That's a little bit of a slap in the face to Kepa, who was dancing all around. And Fabinho just decides to just dink it right down the middle of the goal. Lukaku is up next. He puts the ball down with both hands. He takes a step back. Left-footed Lukaku, socks over the knee. Here's Kelleher. He does some fancy footwork and he drills it into the back of the net. He did his job sending Kelleher the wrong way. I think that was his strategy because it wasn't necessarily in the corner, but I do think he did enough to send Kelleher the wrong way. Here is Virgil. He's a centre half. He's a number 4. Watch him defend, and we watch him score. He'll pass the ball into the back of the net. Let's go, Virgil. Here he is, short run up. Kepa is off center. Oh my goodness! And Virgil stares right back at Kepa. Make that slam dunk number 2 in this penalty shootout. Kepa was off center, trying to mess with Virgil's head. Virgil just steps up and just thwacks it into the near side where Kepa was. Kepa dove the right way and still missed it. That was a big, pardon my language, FU from Mr. Van Dijk to Kepa. Things are getting mighty tasty here in the shootout. This will definitely be getting clipped later for you all to enjoy, as I'm having a bit of fun here with the commentary in the penalty shootout. 100% scoring record so far. Here is Kai Havertz, another left footer for Chelsea. He does his dance. He goes, and he sends Kelleher the wrong way again. And it is 3-3. Here is Trent Alexander-Arnold, who steps up in the 4th position. So Virgil and Trent were those two unknowns in terms of the penalty taker slots. Trent is going to step up. He will certainly be looking confident, such as his psyche. He sets the ball down, checks to make sure that the grass is nice and firm, no divots. He also has a short run-up, staring directly at the ball, and he buries it in the side netting, very similar to where Virgil put it. Let's go, and he gives a little bit of a to the crowd. Let's go, baby, here we go. It is 4-3 for the Reds. Reece James, the gentleman that does not start at England right back due to the previous penalty taker, steps up. He walks, struts to the penalty spot. He sets it down. Caoimhin Kelleher is remaining very still, as he has for the entire penalty shootout thus far. No success as of yet, but a very short run-up once again. I love this camera angle. It's very tight in on Reece James right behind him. Here's Kelleher, and he almost saves it. He is one hand away from stopping that one. And he gives a shh to the crowd. I didn't do my research, but I believe that kind of means that this penalty shootout is taking place right in front of the Liverpool fans. I can't confirm that, but here is Mohamed Salah. He is taking in the 5th position. I didn't really want to go here, but he did not have the opportunity to take his place in the AFCON final because he was in the 5th position, but hopefully he'll be able to bury this one. Oh, and he does! Liverpool's penalty taking has been superb so far. Chelsea's been quite good as well, but Liverpool is expertly going about this penalty shootout. He is looking very pleased with himself. I think this will give, hopefully, and did he just say something to the Chelsea player who's walking towards the penalty spot. I'd be curious if maybe we could rewind that and do some lip reading, because Salah has always been a sportsman-like guy. I don't know, maybe he particularly doesn't like Chelsea, or maybe he just said good luck. But here's Jorginho, who's going to do a hop, skip, and a jump. And he has to make this to keep Chelsea in. Here's Kelleher jumping. Oh, my goodness. And Kelleher went way too early. And he makes Jorginho look like a genius at the penalty spot. And as I said, we're going into extra time in penalties. Sudden death here, folks. One miss and it's over, but one miss and one make and it will be over. That is going to be our path to ending this game and choosing a winner in this shootout and in this Carabao Cup final. Kepa is on the edge of his sixth. It is Diogo Jota, who, as I've said, is in a familiar added on penalty slot taker. Here's Jota, looking maybe a little bit nervous. And he takes it right down the middle, and Kepa is so far not showing why he's been subbed on in this penalty shootout. Honestly, it's impossible to go back in time and say, but Mendy perhaps would have been better, he is taller. So sometimes those kind of goalkeeping, Donnarumma used that to his great advantage in the Euro 2020 final, taking up a huge portion of the goal. Here is Antonio Rudiger, the German center back, who needs to score this goal to keep Chelsea in the shootout. Kelleher, he sends Kelleher the wrong way again. I think in terms of goalkeepers and performance and expectations, there are certainly there are shootout specialists per se. Divock Origi approaching the penalty spot. There are specialists for certain. And then there are goalkeepers, not too many come to mind, but there are some goalkeepers that are just bad at penalties. I think a lot of people might be critical of Kelleher. He's not coming anywhere close, but let's be honest. You can, outside of being a specialist, you're guessing. You're predetermining and choosing one side over another. And if you don't, here's Origi, and he puts it right down the middle, and Kepa nowhere near that one as well. So all I was saying there was Kelleher, might come under a little bit of criticism for not really getting anywhere near these and maybe making the wrong decisions. But again, you've got Kepa, who is a specialist, and he also has gotten nowhere near some of them, including, again, that risky decision to go off center for Virgil van Dijk, and he couldn't be closer to the ball based on his starting position, and Virgil still powered it past him. Here is N'Golo Kanté, who some believe is the best defensive midfielder in the world. He must score to keep Chelsea in this match, and he does. He scores to his left as Kelleher went to his left. Again, choosing the wrong side. Who will be up next for Liverpool? It will be Scottish captain Andrew Robertson. He sets the ball down. He will be taking this with his left foot. He takes a huff to compose himself, and he scores and claps and G's up the crowd as you knew he would. He was not so much in the corner, but I think similar to Lukaku, he wanted to send the goalkeeper the wrong way, which he successfully did, and it is going to be, it looks like Timo Werner, if I can read the number correctly, for Chelsea. Now, will it be a German missing a penalty in the English League Cup final to give victory to Liverpool? Here's Werner, and and it squeaks under Caoimhin Kelleher. It is 8-8. Will we complete the trip around the world, per se, of all players players taking a penalty. It kind of seems that way thus far. I remind you, for those at home, the goalkeepers also must take penalties if it goes that far. Harvey Elliott, is he 18 or 19? Still a teenager. He's stepping up. Based on his positioning, I'm guessing that perhaps Liverpool didn't want to put him in this position, but I actually thought that he would do quite well in this scenario. So let's hope he proves me right. Takes it left-footed and plays it to the left. Sends Kepa the wrong way, taps the badge, and he says, "Come on." I'm not a lip reader, but I can read those lips as he heads back to the midfield line. Come on, Klopp. I want to see Klopp take a penalty. Thiago Silva, former Brazil captain and former Chelsea captain. Or at times Chelsea captain, whatever. He taps the grass as well, sets it down with both hands, Puma cleats, Puma ball, and he needs to put the ball across the goal line with his right foot, and he does. That was a nice penalty. Steps up. He fooled me. I thought he was going right, and he went across his body, as is often the easier way to go, and scores to his left, sending Kelleher the wrong way. Here is Konate for Liverpool's 10th penalty. Unbelievable penalty shootout, similar to the game. Very even. No misses yet. Hopefully, this is not the first. Konate, come on, baby, just score. Just put it in, please. And then, if we remain even after this round, the goalkeepers will go next. Here's Konate. Oh my goodness, and that is the biggest tip or touch from the goalkeeper we've seen thus far. Kepa guessed the right way, hit his hand, and it went in. Let's go. Ibu Konate. It actually wasn't a bad penalty. It wasn't a great one. It was sort of headed for the corner, but not in the corner. But what allowed Konate to get away with that one is the height of it. Here is Nathan Chalba, or it might be Nathaniel, but I've been going with Nathan all game, so I'll stick with that. Here's Chalba. He's looking very solemn as he sees himself on the jumbo screen behind the goal. Here is Kelleher's, very still. Again, oh, and he just gets away with that one as well. A bit similar to the other center back's attempt who just went before him. Here is Caoimhin Kelleher, who will be taking the next penalty. 10-10. Goalkeeper versus goalkeeper. Come on, Caoimhin. I say it again. Come on, Caoimhin. Here's the goalkeeper. Has he ever taken a penalty in his life? Who knows? Here's Alisson fondly looking on, and Bobby Firmino's white teeth shining as Caoimhin Kelleher is going to step up and take this one. And he makes it! What a penalty! Let's go, lad! And Firmino particularly enjoyed that one. Alisson clapping as he knows what it's like to score as a goalkeeper. And Kelleher, can he win the game, both with his feet and his hands, head, knee, backside, anything? Maybe Kepa will put it over the bar. Here is Kepa. No dance before his penalty, and he scores it! Did I not call that? Let's go! Liverpool are Carabao Cup champions. That is all, folks. I've had enough of this stream. It is over with. And Liverpool have won. Caoimhin Kelleher. And Klopp and the Liverpool FC Reds have won the game. How about that, folks? I called it right over the bar. That is it. Sayonara. Have a great day.